Alice, are you hurt?
Whoa, what?
What about them? Can you see if they're hurt? Is there anyone around who can help? Is there a house? Is there a car?
It's a girl. Gosh, she's around my age. Mum.
Is she breathing?
She's not moving.
Okay, go to...
She's bleeding.
Yeah, Alice, we can't wait any longer.
Darling, I'm driving as fast as I can, and I'll get there as fast as I can. Right now, you have to listen to Mum, all right?
The film begins at approximately 2 a.m. inside a house, where an untouched dinner remains on the table and shattered glass litters the floor, evidence of a heated argument earlier that night. Shortly thereafter, Maddie is shown sleeping peacefully, until the chirping of a smoke alarm with low batteries awakens her. Rising to investigate, she discovers her husband, Frank, asleep at his desk in another room. While Maddie replaces the batteries, she receives a sudden call from her daughter, Alice. Maddie is disheartened, knowing Alice stormed out earlier with her father's car. Frank soon awakens and inquires about Alice, but the call abruptly disconnects. Concerned, Maddie immediately calls back to confirm her daughter's safety. To her shock, Alice reveals she has been in an accident. Panicked, Maddie asks whether Alice contacted the authorities or an ambulance. Alice explains that she did, but hung up to call her mother, a paramedic. Alarmed, Maddie and Frank prepare to leave the house. Alice informs them that the ambulance will take 20 minutes to arrive and that she is stranded on Hallow Road in Ashfolk Woods. Frank enters the destination into the GPS, only to realize it will take nearly 50 minutes to reach her. Placed on loudspeaker, Alice confesses she struck another girl of similar age, who now lies unresponsive, bleeding, and staring blankly. Maddie calmly instructs her daughter step by step on how to administer CPR. Alice follows every direction, but the victim fails to respond. Suddenly, a loud cracking sound echoes. Maddie reassures Frank that fractured ribs are not uncommon during resuscitation, but Alice cries out in horror, claiming the girl's chest has collapsed. Frank urges Alice to stop and return to the car, while Maddie insists the girl may still be alive. Terrified, Alice sobs, apologizes, and abruptly ends the call. Frank attempts to reach her again, but Alice does not answer, heightening their anxiety. He questions whether the ambulance is truly en route, and Maddie replies that the average response time is 15 minutes. Distressed, Maddie receives Frank's apology, as he admits his concern was for Alice's emotional well-being. When Alice finally answers, she reveals she is back in the car, which is now stuck in a ditch. Maddie asks whether the ambulance has arrived or contacted her, but Alice says no. Confused, Maddie suspects something is wrong, while Frank suggests possible understaffing. Pressed for details, Alice explains that the girl suddenly ran into the road. Maddie questions why Alice was in the woods at all. Alice admits she could not stay home due to the earlier argument, nor go to her flat where her boyfriend Jacob awaited. Instead, she retreated to Ashfolk Woods, a place she and her friends frequented. Alice reveals she arrived 4 hours earlier, fell asleep, and upon waking, became lost. Maddie doubts her story and asks if she had taken drugs. Frank dismisses the idea.
Alice, are you high?
What? Don't be so ridiculous.
Alice, tell me.
Of course she is.
But Alice admits she had, insisting it was a small amount and common among her peers. Maddie erupts in anger, realizing Alice never called the ambulance. Alice tearfully explains she trusted her mother to save the girl and feared legal consequences. Maddie, horrified by her recklessness, decides to call the police. Alice pleads not to go to jail, prompting Frank to declare he will take the blame since it was his car. He proposes that Maddie and Alice return home while he remains with the vehicle and the body, believing the police will be lenient given the circumstances. Maddie mutes the call and warns Frank that his plan could ruin his life, but he insists he cannot allow Alice's future to be destroyed. Maddie counters that their daughter will be scarred regardless. Later, Alice continues crying, and Frank comforts her, insisting it was not her fault. He encourages her to focus on her studies, but she worries only about Jacob, enraging Frank. He demands obedience and forbids her from seeing Jacob. It is then revealed that Alice is pregnant, a secret she has not shared with her boyfriend. Her parents' disapproval sparked the earlier argument, leading her to flee. Maddie asserts that Alice is too immature to raise a child at 18. As they drive, the GPS warns they are on the wrong road. Maddie urges Frank to turn back, but he insists it is malfunctioning, igniting another argument. Suddenly, Alice spots headlights and assumes they belong to her parents. Frank panics, realizing they are still 25 minutes away, and warns her not to signal. A vehicle approaches, and Frank instructs Alice to drag the body off the road. Maddie protests, but Frank, desperate to protect his daughter, pressures Alice into hiding the body in the woods.
Won't know she's there because you're going to get her off the road, right, Alice?
Abruptly, Alice claims the girl's face is changing into someone else. Her parents suspect she is hallucinating.
Her face is changing!
While Alice, terrified, attempts to flee. A woman's voice interrupts, asking if Alice is all right.
We didn't mean to scare you. Do you need some help with your car?
The stranger offers help with her car, but Frank orders Alice to dismiss her. Alice insists she is fine and on the phone with her parents. The woman presses for details, and Alice reluctantly claims she swerved to avoid a deer. The woman counters that there are no deer in the area, suggesting it was a dog, and explains she and her husband noticed Alice's flashing lights. Alice insists she is fine, but the woman shifts the conversation, asking if Alice knows why the road is called Hallow Road. She explains it is sacred ground, steeped in myths and folklore, once honored by pagans but now reduced to tales told by youths who come to drink. Observing Alice's intoxication, the woman threatens to call the police. Alice begs her to leave, but Maddie intervenes, instructing her daughter to put the call on loudspeaker. Maddie explains that Alice was driving to university, became lost in the woods, and crashed. Alice tells the woman that her parents are only minutes away and politely asks the woman to leave. Despite this, the woman persists, questioning why Alice is in the woods and why she appears so flustered. Maddie intervenes firmly, insisting that the woman leave at once, as she is making Alice extremely uncomfortable. The woman then asks Alice directly if she feels uncomfortable, and Alice reluctantly confirms. This finally prompts the woman to depart, her footsteps fading into the distance. Relieved, Maddie urges her daughter to return to the car and lock the doors. Yet Alice soon panics again, claiming the woman is still in the woods and has discovered the body. Maddie reassures her, promising to call the police, something she admits should have been done earlier. In her panic, Alice attempts to start the car, still stuck in the ditch, in a desperate bid to escape. Suddenly, the woman screams for her to stop, declaring they have found the body and she cannot leave. Alice refuses, but shattering noises erupt, suggesting the woman has smashed her car window, just as the call cuts off. The parents frantically attempt to reconnect, but Alice does not answer. Desperate, Frank accelerates to reach her as quickly as possible, while Maddie tries calling again. This time, the woman answers. She calmly states that she has deduced the parents know about the girl who was struck. She explains that Alice is now in her car, and they had to break in to confiscate her keys to prevent further harm. The woman finds the situation suspicious. The body was dragged deep into the woods, no authorities are present, and only the parents remain on the phone. She accuses them of acting emotionally rather than rationally, willing to let the victim die to protect their daughter. Maddie responds by revealing she is a paramedic, which explains why Alice called her, believing her mother could save the girl. Maddie admits she did not realize Alice had failed to call the ambulance until it was too late, and the girl had seemingly died. In a shocking twist, the woman reveals the girl is still alive and that her husband is caring for her. The couple is stunned, further confused by the woman's refusal to involve the police. When they ask to speak to Alice, the woman insists they first be honest about what happened. Frank confesses that Alice accidentally hit the girl while driving through the woods, but he instructed her to hide the body, intending to take the blame himself to protect his daughter.
No parent wants to be their child's monster.
The woman responds that no parent wishes to become their child's monster, but failing to say no often leads to tragedy once children grow up. She explains that she and her husband learned this lesson painfully and have been paying for their mistakes ever since. Finally, the woman returns the phone to Alice, offering her water and noting her severe dehydration. Alice speaks with her parents, wondering how she failed to realize the girl was still alive. Frank suggests she was too shaken by the accident and convinced herself of the girl's death. He insists on continuing with the plan, claiming he will take responsibility as the driver. Maddie, however, argues that it must be Alice's choice, as she knows the consequences of avoiding accountability. Breaking down, Alice admits she saw her own face in the girl's body and fled in panic. She resolves that if the girl survives, she will apologize and accept full responsibility. She asks how far away her parents are, and Frank assures her they are only minutes away. Alice promises to see them soon and hangs up. When the couple finally arrives at Hallow Road, they are met with a shocking sight. Alice and the mysterious woman are gone, leaving only the abandoned car with shattered windows. Nearby, they discover a dead girl lying in the road, realizing the woman lied about her survival. Maddie immediately calls the authorities, but Frank approaches in despair, trembling as he reveals the horrifying truth: the dead girl is their own daughter. Maddie rushes forward, screaming in anguish as the reality overwhelms her. Despite this, Maddie refuses to believe it is Alice. She recalls Alice's claims that the girl's face was changing and the strange sounds they heard.
Don't you remember? She said to us that the face was changing.
Frank insists it is impossible, but Maddie calls her daughter again. To her shock, Alice answers, with the woman still beside her. Alice explains she is still in the forest, prompting her parents to rush to find her. Meanwhile, Alice asks why they are not heading to the hospital. The woman responds that the girl died when Alice ran her over. Alice panics, demanding to know where her parents are.
No, you're not my parents!
Oh, but we are now.
But the woman chillingly declares that she and her husband are now Alice's parents. She explains that Alice's real parents lack the strength to fix her, so they will do it instead, as they have done for many children before. Terrified, Alice pleads to be released, while her parents encounter two diverging paths. Maddie notices a red light in the distance and turns left, listening as the woman lectures Alice about how parents shield their children from consequences and invent stories to protect them. She asks Alice how far her parents will go for her, and how long they will continue down this endless road. At that moment, Frank and Maddie reach a road where a police car blocks their way. Frank demands the officers move, while Maddie pleads with the woman to spare Alice and give her another chance. The woman coldly declares it is too late. When Alice, distraught, reveals she is pregnant, the woman chillingly responds that they will rectify her child as well, before the call abruptly ends. The parents, trembling with fear, call repeatedly, but no one answers. The following morning, police investigators examine the scene. They conclude that Alice, under the influence, crashed into a ditch. Disoriented, she ran into the road, where she was struck by a driver who panicked, hit her body, and fled. One officer notes that the parents insist it was not their daughter, claiming they were speaking to her on the phone at the time. Another officer counters that this is merely a trauma response, as they struggle to accept her death.